Hello, my dear listeners. Welcome. May God speak to your hearts through my experiences. I was attending a church in a neighborhood called Atinga, in the city of Louro de Freitas, about 30 minutes by car from the city of Salvador, in the state of Bahia. Every weekend I would leave my mother's house, located in the Pitangueras neighborhood, and go to this house in the Atinga neighborhood. I would usually leave on Saturday afternoon and stay there until Monday morning. I had a commitment to go to Sunday school on Sunday mornings, and in the evening I had to go to services to worship the Lord. My sister gave me a small house in the back of her house to live in, and I would leave my basic things there, such as formal clothes, my suits and shoes that I would need to wear to worship the Lord in the temple. After lunch, I usually rest a little and lie down. Sometimes I sleep, sometimes I just stay awake and lie down, but I am always in the position and condition to sleep in bed during the day. When I am taken in spirit to the spiritual dimension, I see the things that exist there, and when I return, I usually write down the day and time of the event. This time, I didn't write anything down and let the experience pass me by. Only after a few days did I start to record everything that happened to me. When I go out far away, or even to buy something nearby, I don't take my cell phone with me because of thieves, because I don't want them to take my device. So I don't record many things, and when I return from the experiences, I have to write everything down in the computer's notepad. I don't remember if I had already arrived from the service that night, or if it was in the early hours of Monday morning, but I know that I had slept and woke up in the spiritual dimension. I don't remember the time I woke up, but when I got up, my spiritual eyes were already wide open and I couldn't open my physical eyes. I kept trying to walk, but everything around me was different. When I walked, I bumped into things in the physical world and I didn't understand that my spiritual eyes were active. That is, they were open and hadn't closed when I woke up. I insisted on walking and ended up bumping into a hanging shelf that was on the wall with some of my things, and I knocked over everything that was on top of it and hurt myself a little. As soon as I knocked over the things and fell, I was able to see where I was with my physical eyes, because they opened, because my spiritual eyes were open, but my physical eyes weren't seeing, but my spiritual eyes were. I don't remember if it was on the same day, in the early hours of the morning, or if it was another day, that I had this same experience where I woke up physically and could already see with my spiritual eyes and found myself in a completely different house, but the tiles and walls were the same as the house in Snokotano. The house in Snokotano was the house where I was born and lived for many years. The structure was different from the house I was born in, but what was clear was that the walls and the tiles in the front area were from the house in Snokotano. This house was merging with the little house I was living in, given to me by my sister, and it was clear that one was mixing with the other, and for this reason, it was showing a different structure. As soon as I got up, I was standing in flesh and blood and my spiritual eyes were open, but my physical eyes were blocked despite being open. Speaking like this, it seems like I'm sleepwalking, but I'm not. I woke up and was conscious and got up physically and walked around the house, but my physical eyes couldn't see, but my spiritual eyes remained open and saw the spiritual plane clearly. In order not to hurt myself, I stood still and noticed a wall in the spiritual plane and leaned against it, feeling that there might be someone nearby approaching or even watching me. While I had my spiritual eyes open, I tried to hide and remain quiet and suspicious that some demon or whatever might appear. But I tried to remain quiet, and little by little I saw everything disappearing from the spiritual dimension, and I began to see the physical dimension again. I thought it could be a demon. I also thought it could be someone in spirit, outside of the body, and I could make contact. But I thought it best not to risk it. After all, no one lives in the spiritual dimension. When I say no one, I'm talking about human beings. I'm referring to the living, who can be in spirit and in truth. But I know that there are a lot of demons in the spiritual dimension. Demons have invaded this spiritual plane and have dominated everything there for several years. I have no idea how many years they have been in this battle and lifestyle in the spiritual plane. I believe that God can manifest the spirit of someone who is alive in the spiritual plane, as he is doing with me. However, I didn't want to take the risk of wanting to know if there was anyone there. As for it being the spirit of demons, that's what I believe the most, because they dominate this dimension and have lived there for a long time. If you go out into the spiritual dimension now, you will see streets, houses, and you will be able to see the blue sky with clouds. But there is no human living in this spiritual dimension. Everything is the same as on the physical plane, where we live and work. You can see everything there. There are places that are identical to ours, but there are places that are just forest and everything is different. I believe that what is happening to me is the birth and manifestation of my spirit while still in the physical body without me having to go through death. My soul is sometimes connected to the spiritual body, and sometimes it is connected to the physical body. It is a single soul for two bodies. This happens to me from time to time, and at first I was worried and thought about many things. But today I am understanding more and feeling within myself that it is my spirit awakening and needing the soul to live. I remember that I hit myself on the bookshelf and hurt myself a little, and no matter how much I tried to see again with my physical eyes, I couldn't. Look, what I can say about this is that I am struggling with my spirit and my flesh, and I am living into dimensions at the same time. Sometimes I am in one dimension, sometimes I am in another, and this with my body awake. It has usually happened to me that I am sleeping in the flesh and I wake up in spirit. I leave the body and travel in the dimension of the spirit, and sometimes I walk through the streets, or else I float and always go somewhere, and there are situations where I travel at great speed.